So thanks for taking the time to watch this. Yes, I would have loved to have spoken to all of you, but it just seems as though the week is getting away and my list isn't getting any shorter. So I thought I'll create this video. You can watch it at a time that works for you. And then, look, I'm more than happy to have a chat. So send me an email. We'll arrange a time to chat. But I figured we'd do this bit and then you've got the information you need. So a bit of background, the Rural Health Innovation Sprint. Basically, this is a project that I've been working on for a while, basically to take some of the innovation techniques that are happening in a range of industries, places like Google and Microsoft, a number of other places are using these kind of approaches, and then basically translate them into the community health and well-being sector. You know, how is it that we change the world, make the world a better place? There's nothing particularly new about what I'm doing, but it's about kind of going, okay, we can actually change the world a little bit, and how do we get some innovation happening in those spaces? Now, I have gone out to various different academics across the university looking for recommendations, and your name came up. So there's a vote of confidence for you. So basically looking for people who would be good in this situation, so that are, you know, smart, engaged, interested, all of those kinds of things. So the project itself, it really grew out of an opportunity with the City of Greater Bendigo. They had, I guess, some funding available to kind of do this kind of work. And they came to me and they said, Brad, hey, can you run that thing that you were talking to us about before? And so we've gone, yes. Now, the remit of the City of Greater Bendigo, or this kind of funding, is about health and well-being. And obviously, we have made a point of kind of narrowing it down. You know, we can't deal with health and well-being, and we're going to narrow it down some more. And so really, this is an answer to the to something that's really absurd, which is that we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and yet we have people that go without food. That's stunning. You know, like it's interesting. And then our best answer to that problem is food handouts, food relief. Now, food relief has a place, no question, but it seems a little short-sighted that we just keep giving out food, that we're not doing something more meaningful that will actually, you know, mean that there'll be, you know, that we won't have to rely on food relief. And so this design sprint, this Rural Health Innovation Sprint, is really focused on how do we kind of engage with that challenge. Now, it's going to be a really, really full-on week, right? So if you're not up for a tough week, please just decline, okay? It's going to be full-on. It'll be the kind of thing where you get to the end of the day and you go, oh my goodness, I'm exhausted. Can't wait to do it again, okay? Because it's going to be a full-on, dynamic, energy-full kind of week. We're going to we'll look after catering. So there'll be morning tea, afternoon tea and lunch, coffee and tea. And we'll very much be working as a team. So you guys you're not students for this week. You're working as a collaborative team to come up with ideas. Now, on the first day, it's really about developing our collective understanding of the challenges associated with food security, or with, you know, going without food. And so we've got a number of industry partners that are going to come in, and they're going to share with us really briefly about, you know, their role and about where they see the challenges are. And so we've given them kind of 10 or 15 minutes, which is not a lot, just to signpost what they think are the most important things. And then we've got a session where you will each be going out and having conversations with those people and really starting to engage and develop an understanding to bring back to the group. We'll also have, we're hoping to have some people with lived experience that we'll be running a live interview with, just to give you an understanding of what it's like at an individual level to not have food. What leads up to it? What's the experience like of asking for food? You know, what would you see? You know, what would you like to see? Okay, and this is really important for developing our understanding. Now, the reason this is so important is because on day 2, part of our job is to really narrow down and go, okay, what are we going to try and achieve? So I'll walk you through a series of processes where we're going to start to create the goals of your project, our project. What does success look like? Who's our target audience? We're not going to solve the food problem for the entire Bendigo forever. We're going to narrow it down to kind of choose something that we can actually make a difference in. Now, Wednesday is an exciting day because Wednesday is the day, probably the end of Tuesday as well. We'll see how we go. Wednesday is the day where we really start to think about what are all of the different ways that we might solve this problem. Okay, we're going to come up with a whole stack of creative ideas. We're going to develop, you know, really narrow down and choose the best ones. Then we're going to develop a few of those ideas and then test them in the afternoon with some industry partners that we've got coming in. And so they'll be working with you to really kind of tease apart your idea and develop the really good ones, but also perhaps go, oh, this one might be better than that one. And so really working closely with them. Now, on day 4 and 5, what you will actually be doing is testing this idea. So you will be coming up with a way of prototyping the best idea that you come up with and testing it in the community. Okay. Now I keep using the horrible example because you guys will come up with a much better example, that if by Wednesday afternoon you think that creating a breakfast vending machine is the best way to solve this problem, it's not. It's another food relief. It's another food handout. But if you think a breakfast vending machine is the way to go, then on Thursday we're going to be working really hard to actually somehow build something where the experience is like a breakfast vending machine, because we're going to test on Friday the human experience of engaging with this idea, right? Now, we've got some money set aside so that we, if we need to buy some stuff to make that happen, we can. You might come up with an idea that's about process. You might come up with an idea that's related to events. It might be an object. It might be an app. Whatever it is, for Thursday, we're going to be working really hard to create a prototype of it so that we can find out really quickly on Friday morning whether it's going to work, why it works, why it doesn't work. We'll also be evaluating it. So you'll be developing an evaluation strategy and thinking, okay, what does success look like? What are we looking for? What do we need to know? And then on the Friday evening or Friday afternoon, you'll be preparing a presentation, because on the Friday evening, you'll be presenting those ideas in a showcase to a range of industry partners. Okay, I know it gets bigger and bigger. And so we're going to have probably, 40 or 50 people come from the City of Greater Bendigo, from Anglicare, from FoodShare, from La Trobe University. A range of different people will come and listen to you present about what you've learnt about the challenge, what you've learnt as a result of the prototype, and what your recommendations are for the future. Now, really what this event is about, aside from sharing your thoughts, is hopefully about getting these organizations enthusiastic about taking them on. Now, it might be the case that the prototype doesn't work. It doesn't matter. We'll be learning things from it. And then we might also have other ideas that we came up with on the Wednesday that industry might like to play with. And so part of that event is kind of a meet and greet where we'll be walking people around and talking through the various different things. So we'll have a good amount of time for networking. Now, on the Monday, part of that Monday is we've got a graphic facilitator coming up. Now, what a graphic facilitator does is they capture what the conversation that's happening in the room. Okay, but they do it in images and diagrams. And so this is going to be a really fun way of us really creating this shared understanding around the room. So that person will be creating images on large pieces of paper around the room, and they'll be working with us to give us the skills so that we can continue developing that. Now, my expectation by the end of the week is that we will have this incredible mad professor's office around us. And then when we have our showcase, we'll actually be walking people around and going, okay, this is the point. See this image here? This is the point where we came up with that idea. Or this idea over here, we didn't take this one because we thought, no, it's not as good as it could be, but we reckon there's possibilities there. Now, we expect that over the period of the week, there'll be opportunities to do conversations with media. There'll certainly be networking opportunities for you. We would really like to connect you and to give you the opportunity to really engage with these various different industry partners so that you can work towards your career and develop your skills. Now, we would love to have, I'd love to have you all involved, because I know how good you are based on the fact that someone remembered your name and they recommended you. But obviously, we've got a limited number of places. We can only take 7. Now, that's not to say that we won't do this again. We may well do it again in 2022. But what we're wanting from you is for you to do a really short application. Now, I've given you a link in the email, and the application, all we're asking for is, if you were to imagine having been in a really effective team for 12 months, how would your team describe you? Okay. Now, this is not an essay. I'm not going to mark you on the basis of your grammar and punctuation. I'm not interested in that. But I want you to present what are the unique things about you that make your contribution to the team important. Because our job is to choose the people that we think we can create a really good team. So if you don't get in, don't take this as a judgment on how good you are. We've already decided that you're good. That's not the question. It's about how can we create a really dynamic and effective team. And I imagine when it comes time to run this again, maybe around a different challenge, you'll probably be the ones that we get in touch with first. Okay, so there will be hopefully other opportunities to do this. So I would really love to see those applications in. I think you'll have details in the email as to when they're due, but basically, I need to get them before next Friday. So the sooner the better would be really good. And look, I really hope to be working with you. It promises to be a really exciting, slightly scary week because I've got to, stay 2 steps ahead of you, but it should be a really fun week. And I think it'll be like nothing you've ever experienced before. You might need a holiday afterwards though, but it'll be a good feeling. All right. So thank you. My apologies again for not being able to talk to you individually. There's too much work to get done. I look forward to chatting to you soon. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Okay. Please feel free to give me a call on the mobile, send me an email, set up a time. I'm more than happy to chat with you if you've got any questions, or even to email those questions through. That's not a problem either. So looking forward, hopefully, to working with you. Catch you later.